Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name remains Bridgie. If this is your first time of seeing my face on your screen, you're welcome to this beautiful, amazing and growing family. On this channel I share my faith, lifestyle, motherhood, relationship and a lot of good stuff. If these are the kind of content you like to see, kindly hit on the red subscribe button down there that says subscribe and be part of this amazing and growing family. I know this family will bless you. Today I want to share God's words with us. I want to bring us to a remembrance of why we're doing what we're doing at the moment. Why are we at this point in our lives? What was the aim? What was the purpose? What was the vision? Have you taken time out to think of those days where you used to pray for where you are today? Have you looked back and remembered? Have you taken time to ponder from where God has brought you to where you are at this moment? And if you have, what was the reason for where you are today? What was the reason you prayed that single prayer? What was the reason you cried on your knees and you asked God for where you are today? What was the reason you took out time to pray and ask God, God, I want to get to this position. I want that promotion. I want that child. I want that spouse. I want that employment. I want that upliftment. I want that healing. What was the aim? Because the today Christian, they seem to forget where they are coming from. They do not seem to remember. They don't seem to keep their own parts of the game. Because we will know that there was something behind our hearts when we prayed that prayer. There was something that we held dearly. There was a vow that we tied to that covenant. There was a vow that we tied to that job. There was a vow that we tied to that prayer request. There was a vow that we tied to that child. And today I want to ask, are you keeping it? At this point in your life, do you still remember the vow? Do you still remember the promise? Have you kept your own side of the covenant? As children of God, we tend to really forget. I just said it that time. We don't even remember most times. That is why I have come today. I want to bring it to your remembrance. I'm sorry, my baby is here. If you can hear any woozing, he's just here playing around. But I just have to send this message. Like Joseph, the Bible said that his brothers sold him. No, they put him in a pit first, and then they brought him out and they sold him. When they sold him to slave masters, he found himself in Potiphar's house. I am sure when he was in that pit, he was praying like, God, can you just save me? Like many of us, like, God, can you just redeem me? Can you just help me out of this problem? Can you just deliver me? Can you just restore me? Can you just help me? Joseph was like many of us. And then he was sold to the slave masters and he found himself in Potiphar's house. And then Potiphar's wife tried to lure him. He understood the goal. He understood his purpose. He did not lose his aim. He didn't lose the goal. He didn't lose the vision. He didn't lose the covenant. He knew where God was taking him. And there was no distraction that was going to take him out of this promise. He kept it. And that was why he could go further in life. Many of us are like Anna. And Anna cried before the Lord for a child. And she told God and said, God, if you give me this child, I will give him back to you. She told God, if you give me this child, if you give me this promise, if you do this for me, I'm going to give you back this child. Many of us have prayed Anna's prayer, and then the child has been released to us. Have you trained that child in the way of the Lord? Are you training and bringing up that child in the way of the Lord according to your promise? But these days, instead, you're going to say, oh, that's my only child. Oh, no, don't do this to my child. This child is my life. You've forgotten that you told God this child will be a strong man in your kingdom, will be a force to reckon with. And any man that's going to be a force to reckon with has to be trained. It doesn't just happen. It doesn't just happen overnight. He has to go through training. But parents, are we training up our child that way according to the will and the purpose of God? It is important to us to understand that God honors covenant. That God honors covenant. And as He honors covenant, it brings purpose into accomplishment, into manifestation. You might find out that you have achieved the height and you are stuck there. Why? Have you gone back to ask why? Why am I stuck? Why am I not having clarity? Why am I not growing? Why am I not doing the things that I think at this stage of my life I should have achieved? It might be that you did not keep your own side of the covenant. If we read the story of Moses, Moses was brought up in Pharaoh's house. Moses was educated as an Egyptian. Moses had a comfortable life growing up. The Bible recorded that Moses was disturbed the way his people were treated. He wasn't comfortable. He was not comfortable. Yes, he had a comfortable life. Yes, he was nurtured. He was trained as an Egyptian, but he knew his people. He knew his purpose. He knew his vision. He knew what the covenant that God had concerning his life. He refused to be carried away by the good things in the house of Pharaoh. He knew that, yes, this place that I am is a transitioning process for me. He knew that I am just passing through this place to where I am going to. This is not the final bus stop. I cannot make this my end point. Yes, it is comfortable. Yes, they are treating me as part of them. But deep down in the inside of me, I know I do not belong here. It's like the story of the lion and the lion in the midst of the dogs. The dogs were barking, but he couldn't bark. He tried. He couldn't bark. He couldn't do anything. He tried, but it wasn't a part of them. And there was nothing he could do. He couldn't just blend. No. Are you trying to blend in that place where you are? Forgetting the promise. Forgetting the covenant. Forgetting your reason why you are where you are today. Forgetting the reason why you prayed that single prayer years ago. Forgetting the reason why you asked God for upliftment. I want to urge us to go back to the drawing board. I want to urge us to go back to the original plan. I want to urge us to go back to the assignment. I want to urge us to understand the assignment and go back to it. I'll close us with this. Hebrews chapter 11 verse 24. By faith, when Moses grew up, he refused to be identified or called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. He did not forget where he was coming from. He understood the assignment. He understood his purpose. He understood his vision. He understood where God was taking him to. So he wasn't carried away. Don't be carried away with the things that you see now, because God has a greater plan for you. Don't be carried away with the comforts that you have today. Remember the reason God is taking you on that journey. Remember the reason God is taking you to that place. Don't be carried away. I hope this word will minister to somebody today. And you have watched to this point, I want to say thank you for tuning in. I love you. I appreciate you. Do not forget to like this video, share to someone, drop your comment down in the comment section. I'll be there waiting for you, and subscribe on your way out. I love you and I appreciate you, and I will see you in my next video. God bless you and have a beautiful April.